Hello dear students, I am your science teacher Anshu. Today is our third session on sound. In the previous session we studied about anatomy of human ear and mechanism of hearing. Let's have a quick recap of it. In the last session we discussed that ear consists of three parts: outer, middle and the inner. Outer ear consists of pinna and ear canal. Middle ear consists of tympanic membrane, tympanic cavity. Tympanic cavity further has three bones. The inner ear contains semicircular canals and the cochlea. Now how we are able to hear? This external ear collects and forces the sound vibrations to the tympanic membrane. The tympanic membrane starts to vibrate. When this tympanic membrane vibrates, the bones connected also start vibrating. And through this oval window, these vibrations are transferred to the cochlea. The fluid in the cochlea starts to vibrate, and these vibrations are picked up by the tiny hairs of basilar membrane. These hairs convert them into the electrical impulses, and through the auditory nerve they reaches the brain. Thus we are able to hear. Today we will study about the characteristics of sound, which is frequency or the wavelength, amplitude or intensity, speed of the sound and direction of sound. Pitch and loudness determined by the frequency and amplitude are the characteristics which help us to differentiate between the different types of sound. Students, in my first session I told you that sound travels as a longitudinal wave in the form of compressions and rarefactions. But to understand the characteristics of sound, we always represent the sound wave as a transverse wave. What is a transverse wave? A wave in which the medium vibrates at right angle to the direction of propagation. Now let us see what are the different characteristics we should notice in a wave. As you can see, there are certain elevations and depressions in the wave. These elevations are known as the crest and the depressions are known as troughs. Now when the wave starts from zero, it rises to maximum, falls to zero, then maximum in the opposite direction, and then again to zero. This complete is known as one cycle. Now time taken to complete this one cycle is known as time period of the wave, and it is always the reciprocal of frequency. Next is amplitude. Amplitude is the displacement from the mean position. Now you understand it like this. If you want to throw a ball in the upward direction, if you throw it with a high energy, it will rise higher up, and if you throw it with a low energy, it will not rise to the high level. Same is with the waves. If the vibrating particles get higher energy, it will go more away from the mean position, and if it gains less energy, it will not be displaced to a larger extent. Thus the displacement from the origin, from the mean position, is known as the amplitude. Now what is the wavelength? It is the difference between adjacent crest or the troughs. In your books it is written identical. Now all these waves are identical. You can't have a wavelength from this point to this point. It is always between the adjacent crest or the adjacent troughs. Lastly is the frequency. It is number of cycles which are repeated in a given number of time. Now if the frequency is measured in hertz, it is the number of cycles that are repeated in 1 second. If the sound wave completes 50 cycles in 1 second, it means it has a frequency of 50 hertz. Now, what is the relationship between pitch and frequency? Pitch is the shrillness of the sound. When anything which vibrates with a lower frequency or more wavelength, as I have told you earlier, pitch is in direct relation to the frequency, and wavelength is in inverse relation to the frequency. In a direct relation means when one of the coordinate increases, the other will also increase, and inverse relationship means when one coordinate increases, the other will decrease. Now you can see the wavelength, the distance between these two crests is more in first case than in the second case. Now this is the wavelength in second case and this is the wavelength in first case, and here the frequency is lower and here the frequency is high. So a high pitched sound is produced when frequency is more and a low pitched sound is produced when frequency is less. Now you can compare the sound of a drum and a a whistle. Now drum vibrates with the lower frequency, thus the voice is not very sharp, whereas the whistle, it vibrates with a very high frequency and a very sharp voice is produced. Now what is the relationship between amplitude and loudness? Amplitude and loudness are again in direct relation. As the amplitude of the sound increases, of the sound wave increases, the loudness also increases. Like we shout in a louder voice but we whisper softly. Now I have an experiment, a small activity for you people. For this I have taken a glass full of water and a spoon. Now if I hit it very gently, a very low sound will be produced. Try to listen it. Listen the difference in the sound, loudness of sound as I hit the glass. Thus, the loudness of sound depends upon the energy of the sound waves. Now last topic for today is some people have very sharp and shrill voice while the others have very deep. Why it is so? It depends upon the air space between the two vocal cords. You remember this diagram I showed you earlier also. These are the two vocal cords and this is the air space. More is the air space, deeper is the voice, and lesser is the air space, sharp is voice. As in case of males, the air space is more, so the voice is more deep. That's all for today. Book pages covered and in between questions will be uploaded on the school website. Thank you.